No index needed for a commonplace binder, and no page numbers either. So what the heck is happening? We're working on a commonplace binder rather than a commonplace book. I'm going to set this down now. Commonplace Binder 101. That's the playlist. Got 100 videos, not 101. Sorry about that. So, no index needed. What? No page numbers? What's going on here? Well, I'm going to pick it up now. This is a binder, which has rings, which means things go in and out. They don't just sit there. Which means page numbers make no sense. And if page numbers make no sense, then an index makes no sense at all. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And so in that case, we have a content section, and we rely on tabs at the top. That's it. Content section. I guess I should probably show that to you. So this is the content section. Normally don't hold it like this. And that is what the next page looks like. I added this color just because I thought people might want to see some color. I don't really like it though. So when I make more pages of this in the future, I'm not going to include the color. I'm just going to write it out. So basically, I write out 1, just in case there are multiple of a thing, and then the title. So that's February 2024. So that's the month, year. Growing up is the category. So if we go all the way to the back, that's what will be there. But this says March 2024 ideas, and that's because the very first thing says March 2024 ideas. So we write the thing down here, and then up there, and then at the top of the page. And so if you can't find it when it's done kind of by section and by date, then like you're probably not going to find it with an index anyway. Daily descriptions. Do we need to include daily descriptions of everything that's happening within the binder? No. No, we do not. You also don't need to like write out exactly what's happening every single day of your life. If you want to, you can include that in a journal or like, I don't know, just like a Google Doc or something. But like, that's a lot of work. But personally, I like to write things down roughly once every like 3 days in regards to like personal life stuff. Just because any more frequently than that, and I'm like, why? Why do I have to do this? But also it's fun to think back a few days. Commonplace Book. Did I talk about that? I feel like we talked about that before. Basically, Commonplace Binder is a commonplace book, except it's in a binder, and there are no page numbers. Because there are no page numbers, there's no index. And an index is, I consider that to be like quite high level, but pretty much everyone includes that when they're talking about this, and I think that probably prevents like 80% of people from starting. Yes, I am just using a random number. I have no scientific method to figure that number out. So make your own library. Don't listen to me, just make your own stuff. So how are you going to make your own library? What? Well, maybe you're collecting books, and then you're writing down a little bit about each book, and then you're kind of making your own book, and if you do that a bunch of times, then you've made many books. And so then it's kind of like a personal library? Not really. Background tasks. So in the background, there's always stuff going on. Like I'm on Do Not Disturb, and someone sent me a Discord message, and I think they sent me another one. Why? Now, it might be an emergency of some kind, but that person has been sending me Facebook Reels constantly, which is weird, because like I don't have a Facebook, so like stop sending me Reels. Yeah, background tasks. What are you doing in the binder on a regular basis? You're just looking through it, and you're like, wow, look at that stuff. That's cool. Mini notebook. So maybe I can grab one from over here. But yeah, it might be you have a little one of these, and this is what you walk around with. Again, not sponsored. Nothing in here is sponsored unless specifically stated. Just playing around with this. Sorry. It's got lined paper. Yeah. You could probably fit something like this in your pocket. If you can't fit in your pocket, you've got pretty small pockets, which does happen. But maybe you have a purse or a bag or something. All I'm trying to say is, like, if you have one of these, you're probably going to keep it on your desk or on a shelf, because this is not something to just, like, open up on the bus. Where are we? Black and white. It is not necessarily as black and white as that. Like, it's not just your desk or just the bus. But, like, if you're only at work and home and the time in between, well, you know, maybe it is that black and white. But also black and white as in, like, you know, this is black text. and that's white up there. So like maybe you just have white paper and you put black text on top. Just saying. Lifelong commitment. This is one of those things where it's kind of, I'm just saying, you know. No, but like this takes forever. You might actually do this for like half a century if you do it, because it's kind of like just a chore. So like, you know, you're probably gonna make your bed at some point, or you're probably gonna brush your teeth. And then if you don't do it, you're gonna get really like stressed for no reason, because it's like, oh my god, I was supposed to do that thing. Or at least I get stressed. Gotta get it done. But yeah, lifelong commitment. Why would it be lifelong? Because you're working on it. And it's your notes. So like, why would you stop looking at your notes? That doesn't make any sense. Who sees it? You. Because it's your stuff. I guess somebody else could see it. Like if you accidentally show it to someone, or if you show it to somebody on purpose, or if you do spend your entire life on this, eventually somebody else will see it, unless you have specific orders to like dispose of it without anybody looking at it. What to keep? So if people are going to look at it, and you're going to look at it, what do you put in there? Well, if nobody else is looking at it, you can probably put a lot of personal stuff in there. It might be useful to just start with things unrelated to standard commonplacing and be like, I need my phone number written down just in case I lose my thing, and I someone's going to give it back to me, hopefully. Or, you know, maybe you write down what your local hospital is, so you can figure out like, oh yeah, I should probably go there if something goes wrong. You know, maybe not. Reduce clutter. So one of the first things I actually got out of this was reducing clutter. So I had a whole bunch of loose leaf paper from high school, and I just put that in a binder, and then I got rid of whatever was the least useful, and I just kept doing that. Eventually, I got rid of all the clutter, which was great. But another way I reduced clutter was I had some things that were in my room that weren't super useful, and so I took pictures of the things, and then I just got rid of the things, because it's like, if I'm not using it, and then I took a picture of it, and then I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff about it in a document, then like I could probably just get rid of the thing, because why am I holding on to it? Although a whole bunch of that stuff was definitely erased, because I did that at the very beginning, and the first 200 pages I had, or at least 200 of the first 400 were just kind of like wiped from my computer when it updated from Windows 7 to Windows 8, even though I specifically said not to do that. It did it, and it just wiped all my stuff. So that was a little frustrating, but since then I've made sure to have multiple backups of everything, so that sort of thing will never happen to me again. Start in 1 minute. Not deleting random stuff, but maybe you could set a timer right now for 60 seconds, and then at the end of the 60 seconds, you can get started on the thing you're supposed to do. Yeah, that thing. Now, if something came to mind when I said that, maybe there is something you're supposed to be doing instead of watching a YouTube video. But I don't need to guilt anyone to like leave my video. Yeah, so the 1 minute is probably wrapping up if you're almost to the end of that. And so what are you supposed to do in 1 minute? Well, if you're going to start a Commonplace book or a Commonplace binder or whatever else, you should probably start with a text document. If you're on your computer right now, you could just, you know, open that up on your desktop and be like, I am starting this thing. And then you could just write something in there that says, I am starting, and then say the date, and congratulations, you started. Absolute knowledge. Do I have absolutely no knowledge of anything? Do I have absolute knowledge of everything? All I know is that this timer is definitely going to be over by now. Unless I'm zooming. It looks like we're about 9.5 minutes in. So absolute knowledge. Are you going to have absolute knowledge of everything if you have a commonplace? No. I mean, does any human have absolute knowledge of anything? I feel like some of us have substantially more information, not necessarily knowledge. But, you know, maybe you'll have absolute knowledge of the entire universe. If you look things up, you might even have more. That's part of the problem with this sort of thing. Like, it might be like, oh, do you have an index? Do you not have an index? What does your system look like? But, like, it's paper, so it's not really made for min-maxing your life. Optimize everything, every second of every day, including the sleep. A lot of times it's just going to be more efficient to look things up. Now, when you look things up, you might follow a specific procedure that you write down in your Commonplace book. Or if you use AI prompts, maybe you will write down the prompts. You know, like it might be good to have a document of the prompts and then print out the document so you have a backup and you can look at it. That might be kind of fun. Waterfall of Information. So if we're just cycling through all of our stuff, doesn't that mean we're just going to look at a deluge of crap? Yeah, kind of. You're just going to look at like your oldest stuff over and over again. And it's not always going to look good. And there's no real way around that other than not looking at it. But not looking at it will be worse. It's kind of like I'm not super satisfied with this set of 4 videos. So 48 has been pretty good. 47 I think was the best. 46 and 45, not so good. At least in my opinion, while I'm recording them right now. And just that's because when I start recording, I don't necessarily always do a good job on the first try, and my body was a little weird for the second one, like right now. So yeah, Waterfall of Information, I feel like we went over that. Static environment, that's kind of the problem. So if you have a binder, it's kind of like a waterfall, because it churns at the bottom, at the base. But static environment, the book is definitely like that. Like if you have a book instead of a binder, the stuff is just in there. Doesn't move around, doesn't do anything. So you'll probably get a lot better at memorizing it. And if the objective is to specifically memorize the things that you write down physically, then yeah, the book is probably better. But like if you want to do anything other than memorize the entirety of the book, I would say go for the binder. But it varies wildly. Maybe you can't write in a binder. Maybe you can only write in a book. I feel like you can probably write on a sheet of paper on your desk. But it might be you're never at a desk. You don't have a desk. I don't know. And in that case, yeah, the book would be better. But like, I think in most cases, the binder will win. Just because there's so many more uses of it. Groups of 5. So do you need groups of 5 for your index? No, but I like to use them for the content section. So I'm not sure if you noticed this. I guess I can pick this up and open it up again. I'm grouping these in sets of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's a line, but that's, because the month ended. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was a little afraid I was going to get, the pencil stuff on my hand. That's another thing. If you use pencils, it may smear, so you don't want to just like rub your fingers in it all the time. So, groups of 5, that's just for organization. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to figure out where the stuff is if I just have, a few sets. Process, that is part of the process. You don't have to do it that way. In fact, you will find out that you do this in a totally different way than I do, if you haven't figured that out already. So, a tool to improve attention and focus is the focus of next video. So thank you for paying attention to this video, and I hope you have been intrigued by this tool. And if you would like to improve your understanding of this concept, maybe consider checking out the next video. So hopefully this was great, and I hope you're doing great, and I'll see you sometime, I guess. Or not. Maybe this is the last video you'll watch. Okay, bye.